My name is David Fulde. I'm a photographer, videographer, filmmaker, CG artist. I like imagery. So I'm here today to talk about Corridor Digital / Corridor Crew and how I believe they're intentionally misleading their audience. And this is not meant as like a big drama takedown. This is just a little bit of information about the situation. Disclaimer: when OpenAI launched DALL-E 2, and when they first launched ChatGPT and Midjourney was just starting, I was all in on AI. At a previous job, I was known as the AI guy. I knew everything. I was running, Stable Diffusion locally. I was doing all these things. Over time, I learned more about AI, and I do not support generative AI in creative applications anymore. For those that don't know, Corridor Digital is a massive, massive YouTube channel. They have two channels, main channels, Corridor, which has 10 million subscribers, and Corridor Crew, which has 6 million subscribers. And they used to be very pro AI. They used to, similar to me, like it's a really cool technology. And then as their audience pointed out, hey, we don't like this. This is not great for artists. This is not great for independent creators trying to break in and make money doing what they love. They stepped back. They never made an official announcement. We're not doing AI anymore. They never did that. The closest thing was Ren independently, not as a spokesperson for the company, said it feels like he's catching strays since he usually doesn't experiment with AI. No one ever seems to notice he's not in the videos, and he's too busy trying to make edutainment videos about science, make a couple of quiz tests on something he saw, and that's it. His edutainment videos are great. VFX artist explores scale. Awesome videos. And he points out, and he has spoken out about it and started a conversation that led to the company changing. With the exception of a video a month ago, which would have been September 2024, they haven't made a single AI-based video in over a year. Which, looking at the main Corridor channel, the last one that I can see that is very obviously an AI video is Anime Rock Paper Scissors 2. Pretty much everything else seems to be handmade and some Unreal Engine metahuman stuff. So that tracks with what Ren was saying. And it seemed to fall to the wayside. It seemed like they were making an officially unofficial stance that Corridor Digital as a company does not fuck with AI anymore. Now, Corridor never made an announcement, we are not using GenAI anymore. They don't have to. That's fine. They can always go back on, they can change their mind about things later down the line if they don't make a statement. Totally fine. And my issue is not necessarily that Corridor is using generative AI. Well, I wish that as a company that is about artistry, their biggest video is VFX artists react. It's their company. They can do whatever they want. My issue is that it seems that they are intentionally misleading their audience about their use of GenAI. Latest 3 videos, character customization wasn't supposed to matter, my orbs browsing history, and before we knew. These are these PS1 pre-rendered FMVs is kind of what they look like. No word in the video mentions this is generative AI. At one point in the description here, in the second video, they say it is AI mocap. Again, a similar heavily compressed FMV pre-rendered cutscene style. And in this first third video, and then before we knew, it says, again, AI mocap, looking to basically increase the output that the company can create. What weekly videos will look like with custom characters, environments, etc., no presets. When I think of AI mocap, I immediately think of Move AI, which Corridor has used in the past, or Rococo AI mocap, which uses camera to create a rigged skeleton that you can apply to your characters. It's mocap. There's no visual data. It's just mocap. But then if you go to the RunwayML website, there is nothing on this website that talks about mocap. It is all generative AI. The closest thing that they have is Act 1. Act 1 is motion capture to drive GenAI. And that feels incredibly misleading that they're saying this is AI mocap. According to RunwayML's own site, it is fully generative AI imagery. Now, there is Wonder Dynamics. Wonder Dynamics, in my opinion, if you're going to use AI in your workflow, specifically a 3D workflow, is probably the most useful. I have the least issues with Wonder Dynamics. Because Wonder Dynamics, it's not really GenAI to my knowledge. I could be very wrong. Essentially, they let you upload a character or use one of their pre-made characters. It applies the motion and camera data to that character, and it will also comp the character in. And something they do, which is really cool, is they can now give you the 3D scene so you can change your camera motion, tweak the animation, all that stuff. Super cool stuff. And kind of how AI can help artists rather than just replace artists. But that is not what Corridor was doing. Corridor is saying RunwayML and AI mocap. Newest video for Corridor Crew, they say what math says my voice should sound like. And this video is basically a video in, audio out model. They even use terms like model and training to create fake sound. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That sounds like AI. This is what kind of triggered my research into this. So I went into the GitHub. You look at who sponsored it, Sony AI, who also just came under fire for attempting to possibly, maybe, they say no, but possibly replace voice actors in the future for their video games. I'm not saying screw Corridor for using AI. I'm just want to point out that Corridor is willfully misleading their audience about their use of AI. And I find that incredibly dishonest and worrying as a company that has really settled itself as a somewhat authority on even this video 6 months ago, VFX artists expose AI scams. VFX artists debunk AI slop. And now they're using AI and not admitting to it. If they just came out and said, hey, we're using voice synthesis AI and it's cool. Hey, we're using AI to increase our content output. It's really efficient for us. I wouldn't be making this video. My issue is the fact that a company that has been so successful at pointing out the skill of artists is secretly utilizing things that are trying to replace artists. And I just think that's wrong. Before anyone says, hey, you should have reached out to Corridor, I did sort of try that. I posted on the subreddit, just basically asking the same questions and saying, like, I could be mistaken. I find this very odd. And the post was taken down for rage bait, gatekeeping, and black and white thinking regarding generative AI. I don't agree with any of that, but it's their rules. It's their place. They can remove posts for whatever reason they want. I did not reach out directly because I don't have very big social media following. I don't care about having a social media following. And because, my Instagram page is like under 5,000 followers, I message them, it's going to get ignored. I email them, it's probably going to get ignored. I don't have the reach or pull to make this a thing, and I don't want it to be a thing. This is just my way of saying, like, Corridor, why are you misleading your audience? Either say, we're going to use AI from time to time, we think it's neat, or say, we're not going to use AI and don't use AI. Because right now you're kind of towing the line, kind of pissing everyone off. Yeah, my name is David Fulde. This is the first time I've used this YouTube channel in years. Probably be years until I use it again.